This is called La Pascualita,
Okay.
the Mexican corpse bride. So basically it's a mannequin in
that every time I go near La Pascualita, my hands break out into a sweat. Her hands are very realistic, and she even has very close veins in her legs. I believe she's a real person.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me.
This is called La Pascualita,
Okay.
the Mexican corpse bride. So basically it's a mannequin in a bridal shop in Chihuahua, Mexico. So this mannequin is at the corner of like the store where people can see it. It's been up since 1930. The store owner had a daughter that was supposed to get married. One day the daughter passed away because she got bit by a black widow. The next day, people have noticed that there's been like a mannequin right in front of his store. They realized that the mannequin looks realistic. So the mannequin, like if you look really close to it, like you see the hands like so realistic. You see like every line of her hands. And people even said that when they would pass by it, they will see her eyes move. One day they will go to work and then they'll see her pose differently.
At first glance, La Pascualita just seems to be a mannequin in the front window of La Popular dress shop in Chihuahua, Mexico, albeit a very realistic mannequin. Its features constantly confuse people, to the point where they insist it's a real person.
Y ahí la tienen totalmente de frente. Si pueden ver, la mirada es muy real. Es una mirada que incluso puede llegar a intimidar a cualquiera, y más a las personas que se acercan a la tienda por las noches.
In fact, rumor has it that the mannequin is actually the shop owner's daughter. In life, she was a beautiful, kind young woman with a promising future who met her premature end on her wedding day, falling victim to a scorpion sting.
Some people are obsessed with her, and some people think she looked creepy. Today, we're talking about La Pascualitas in Chihuahua, Mexico. Not only her, but strange mannequins around the world. Let's get into it.
Customers were obsessed with staring at this mannequin, as they thought it looked so realistic standing there at the front of the store. The mannequin that they were staring at had veins as real humans do, nails that reflect light from the sun, glistening eyes that watched her every move, and hands that even had the same creases that an alive person would have. Customers began noticing when they walked past the store window. The mannequin, now known as a La Pascualita, would follow them with her stare, from left to right and right to left. This was almost 100 years ago, and it's still true today. A staff member that works at the same store, where the mannequin is held for almost 93 years, recently explained that every time I go near La Pascualita, my hands break out into a sweat. Her hands are very realistic, and she even has very close veins in her legs. I believe she's a real person. Customers have even explained that being around La Pascualita feels as though they're standing next to a real person, and they can feel the presence of a person's soul next to them.
Why is no one talking about this mannequin and its creepy backstory? This is La Pascualita. The mannequin has been in the window of this Mexican bridal shop since the 1930s. Now look, mannequins weren't even that detailed back then. Customers noticed that you could see fingernails, eyebrow hairs, and veins on the mannequin. By the way, we're making a Reese's milkshake. Out of all three of these flavor ice creams, which one has to go? Vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Comment down below, I want to see if y'all got good taste or not. Now back to the story. Yo, this is where it gets crazy. The owner of the shop had a daughter named Pascuala, and in the 1930s, she was going to get married. So of course, being the owner of a bridal shop, the owner went all out for her daughter, buying her the best dress and setting up everything. Sadly, a scorpion had got in the daughter's dress, and she sadly didn't survive the sting. People say the exact next day a mannequin appeared at the front of the shop, and she looked strangely similar to the daughter. Even the dress looked similar. Aw, snap. Look at that. Woo, sweet baby diabetes. They believe the owner did not want to lose her daughter, so she dipped her in wax to preserve her forever. Do you think this is the shop owner's daughter? And make sure to hit that follow, because tomorrow's story is insane compared to this one.
So we are currently in my hometown, Chihuahua, Mexico.
we're about to go see Pascualita. Just the background story of it. Years ago, a bride was about to get married. Unfortunately, she passed away, and her mother did not want to bury her. Long story short, she decided to use her body as a mannequin for the bridal shop. We're on the way. I've seen her multiple times, but this is gonna be Josh's first time seeing her. Some people say it's a myth, but I don't know. She's a bit spooky. I just remember when I was shopping for my quinceañera dress, my mom was like, do you want to shop at that store? And I was like, absolutely not. Because I was scared that a dead body was gonna model a dress. So I wasn't gonna make this video just because we actually didn't get to see Pascualita, which I'll explain why. Just felt the need to finish the video just in case other people want to go see her, because it is kind of like a thing to see when you're in Chihuahua. I later on learned that she got transported to somewhere in Europe to like a museum, and she never came back. I don't really know the full story. My cousin was explaining it to me. I even tried Googling, but you really can't find much information on it. Sometime during COVID, she got transported to Europe, so I don't know where she's at or if she's coming back to the shop. What you can find on Google is the whole story, if you want to dive into that, because I explained it super fast initially. Her mother owned a boutique shop and it specialized in bridal gowns, and her daughter was getting married, and literally like right before she was supposed to walk down the aisle, she got bit by something. I can't quite remember if it was like a black widow or a scorpion or something. She like collapsed to the ground as she was walking down. It was very sad for her mother. She didn't want to bury her. I don't really know how the idea came up of making her a mannequin for the shop. So she was embalmed and she became the model or the main headline of the store. The store is like a corner store and she sits right at the corner with her own like little window. Hence why I didn't want to get my quinceañera dress at that store. Not that she was modeling quinceañera dresses, but I just felt weird about it, which I'm sure a lot of people do. She's been in that window for more than 80 years or something. People that go and visit Mexico for the first time or Chihuahua, they go and check that out. It's very lifelike in a sense where she's dead, if that makes sense. Her fingernails are very lifelike and certain features, and it's just weird. It's creepy. And of course, people would say whenever she wasn't in that main window and they were rotating dresses for her. Apparently at odd hours of the night, you would see a girl like dancing in her wedding dress in the middle of the night, and apparently it was her. I don't know. Anyways, this video is much longer than I thought it would be. Just trying to inform the people that are wanting to check that out to save yourself some time. I mean, obviously you can go check out the shop and everything, but she is no longer there. They do have a storyboard about just her that's there in the main window where she used to be, but that's about it. No more Pascualita. I don't know if she's ever coming back.
¿Qué sabe usted de la Pascualita?
Mira, que era
Un cuerpo.
un cuerpo
Y fueron, indagaron, lógico que ellos...
Para todos lados menos para la casa, ven nada más dónde estoy, en el estado más grande de toda la República Mexicana, y vinimos aquí más de 13 horas de camión saliendo de Zacatecas capital. Si de por sí no tenían hachas, ahora sí quedé sin nada. Vamos a conocer la historia, la leyenda de la Pascualita, esta mujer que falleció un día antes de su boda cuando se iba a casar. Le picó un alacrán, una araña, no sabe bien qué fue, la embalsamaron y el cuerpo está con un vestido. Aquí en la capital de Chihuahua, acompáñenos, vamos a conocer esta impresionante leyenda que tienen aquí en la capital del estado más grande de todo México. Un estado que yo le agarré mucho cariño cuando anduve trabajando acá en Ciudad Madera, en muchos municipios del norte de este estado. Entonces, pues nada, vamos para allá. Es todo esta calle derecho. Bien, ya estamos aquí. ¿Cómo llegar? Pues nomás le pones en tu aplicación de mapa Pascualita, ahí te dice la ubicación, cerquitas del centro, a 2 cuadras, 1 cuadra de la Catedral de Chihuahua. Vamos a conocer la Pascualita. Aquí está el vestido de novia, su mamá se dedicaba. Ahorita les voy a dejar una reseña más completa, porque aquí está la reseña de la leyenda de la Pascualita. Dejen nomás que el tráfico nos permita pasar, para que conozcan. Voy a entrevistar gente, preguntarles sobre esta leyenda. ¿Hace cuánto? 1980, una cosa así. Vénganse por aquí. Mira. ¿Estás loco? No está, la Pascualita no está. Tiene varios años que se la llevaron, parece que a Ciudad de México se la llevaron, y aquí nomás está la leyenda. La leyenda que en un momento más se las voy a relatar aquí en un video. Voy a buscar algunas imágenes en internet para que podamos conocer esta impresionante leyenda de la Pascualita en Chihuahua. Mucho tráfico, mucho movimiento en la capital del estado más grande de México, el estado grande. Pues estamos aquí en la capital de Chihuahua y nos encontramos. ¿Usted cómo se llama?
Fernando Valles.
Fernando, ¿qué sabe usted de la Pascualita?
Mira, la Pascualita es un gran ícono aquí en la ciudad de Chihuahua. Hay muchos documentales, serán mitos, realidades, pero sí se ha investigado mucho el caso. Estamos hablando de hace algunos años que se dice que Pascualita, la única hija de la señora Pascualita, que era la dueña de la tienda de
vestidos de
novia, en el momento que ella se iba a casar, le picó un alacrán o una araña, algo así semejante, y fue lo que le ocasionó la muerte. La mamá, Pascualita, que así se llamaba, pues no quería deshacerse de ella ni de su cuerpo, y mandó embalsamar el cuerpo en otro lado, digamos, fuera de México.
Ajá.
Y quedó tan perfecta de que sus venas, sus vellos,
las huellas digitales se le notaban, ¿verdad?
Huellas digitales se le notaban. O sea, la gente nos causó tanta, a lo mejor se puede decir morbosidad, porque se oían tantas versiones que en verdad sí, su mirada, sus huellas digitales, sus vellos, sus cejas, sus pestañas, todo muy, muy bien.
Oiga,
Sí.
¿y dónde está ahorita la Pascualita? Porque
Mira,
fuimos a visitar aquí la tienda de novias.
ya tiene tiempo que no está. De hecho, se hizo una investigación, fue la Fiscalía del Estado
Ajá.
a indagar. ¿Por qué? Porque había muchas versiones de que era
un cuerpo.
Y fueron, indagaron. Lógico que ellos no dan información.
No dijeron si era cuerpo o no era cuerpo.
No dijeron nada. Desde entonces, poco a poco fue desapareciendo el monumento, como tú le quieres llamar.
Pero entonces, ¿cabe la posibilidad de que sí haya sido un cuerpo y por eso ya no esté ahí?
Hay muchas posibilidades. ¿El por qué? Porque después de la investigación que llevó a cabo el gobierno del estado, porque había muchos mitos, como te digo, no sé si eran mitos, realidades, pero la gente empezó a hablar que si era en verdad que estaba embalsamada, y se la llevaron a México.
A México, y por allá está.
Se menciona de que está en Liverpool, de la Ciudad de México.
Pero nadie la ha visto, o sea, la gente de Chihuahua no tiene la certeza de decir, bueno, voy y veo la Pascualita en México, tampoco.
No, hasta ahorita no salió ningún documental. Hay documentales donde la gente la ha visto a medianoche moverse o se desaparecía del lugar donde ella estaba. es una atracción aquí en la ciudad de Chihuahua que la gente quedó asombrada porque venía mucha gente de otros lados del mundo para conocer especialmente a Pascualita, así se le llama Pascualita.
¿Y a la gente de Chihuahua le gustaría que regresara?
Claro, claro, porque es, como te digo, es un ícono para nosotros tenerla como un centro de atención, porque no sé si tú te tocó ver fotografías, te tocó verla en persona, y como te digo, haz de cuenta un ser humano que está así, todo exactamente tal y como debe de ser. Se manejaron por medio de taxistas que ellos trabajan toda la noche. Ajá. Aquí se encuentra el local, aquí en
una cuadra, ¿no?
En la Campo y Aldama está el local. Hay documentales de taxistas donde ellos trabajan toda la noche. Ajá. Ellos han mencionado cosas de que en ocasiones no está, en ocasiones se movía el maniquí supuestamente. ¿Por qué? Y es cuando empezó a tener más gente, y como te digo, hay documentales de que cuando la veían directamente a los ojos a ella las volteaba a ver. Entonces, era muy, pues como te digo,
una de las leyendas más importantes de México.
En México. Bueno, por lo pronto, aquí era una leyenda, mito, realidad, no lo sé.
No sabemos.
No sabemos, ¿verdad? Porque desapareció de un momento a otro después de que se hizo la investigación.
Que hace varios años, ya como unos 10 años, ¿de cuántos era eso?
Sí, más o menos, porque esto hace como unos 4 o 5 años que desapareció.
Ok.
Se oye que está en Liverpool.
En Ciudad de México.
Sí, que un millonario compró el maniquí.
Y se lo llevó.
Y se la llevó a la Ciudad de México.
Y como era particular, no era del gobierno, pues pudieron venderla y todo, no pasa nada.
Pues de hecho, pues no pasa nada. No pasa nada porque pues no sé quién haya sido porque un árabe, tengo entendido, fue el que compró la tienda.
Ah, ¿la tienda de vestidos con todo?
Sí, de todo. Entonces las empleadas que la cambiaban, pues ellos tenían prohibido exactamente decir
lo que había abajo el vestido.
En el momento que ellos le cambian, porque constantemente le cambiaban de vestido. Como era un maniquí, ¿verdad?, de exhibición de vestidos, pues constantemente le cambiaban la vestimenta. Pero como te digo, haz de cuenta un maniquí con sus huellas digitales, su vello, todo. O sea, la gente que conocen de ese aspecto dicen que cómo es posible que
un maniquí esté así,
que un maniquí sea así. Sus huellas digitales, con sus cejas, sus pestañas, su mirada, que dicen cómo es posible. Y esa es la leyenda de que se dice que la mamá no la quiso enterrar.
Que era también muy bonita, ¿no? La muchacha
bonita,
estaba muy bonita.
Muy bonita, como de unos 70, muy bonita se ve el maniquí, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Entonces, se cuentan muchas leyendas, como te digo, serán mitos, realidades, pero la gente sí se quedó con esa y cae, y la Pascualita.
Y la siguen extrañando.
Sí, porque pues para nosotros era, para aquí, para el municipio de Chihuahua y para mucha gente que venía de otros estados a ver el maniquí.
Bueno, pues ¿verdad? Muchísimas gracias por su tiempo y por compartirnos la historia de Chihuahua.
A la orden.
Ahí quedó.
Let's talk about one creepy, bizarre house that used to exist in New Hamburg, New York, that was known as the John Lawson Mannequin House. And this house was definitely haunted by some pretty bizarre mannequins. These mannequins are definitely very unsettling, plus they have a lot of lore attached to them, so let's get into it. So many years ago, up until 2016 and 2018, the John Lawson House in New Hamburg, New York was very famous for being known as the Mannequin House. The house would feature an array of mannequins that would sit in different positions on the front porch. And oftentimes, their positions, their clothing, even their hair would change. The creepiest thing is that no one would know or see anyone coming to the front porch to move them, dress them. It was just pretty bizarre to see. Each morning, these mannequins would just change position and look at different directions. So what's the lowdown on this house? The house was built in 1845 off of 9A Main Street, and it's believed to be the oldest house in New Hamburg's Main Street Historic District. It was built by a John Lawson, but Within the years and decades, it had fallen into many different hands, including one descendant. It's not the mannequins that make this house super creepy, it's the events that happen within 200 feet around this house that is very, very odd. First event actually occurred in February of 1871. In the middle of a 2-week cold snap, a southbound 25-car freight train derailed, and it landed on a northbound track, striking a northbound passenger express train. This occurred over a bridge that stretched across the Hudson River, and this accident caused 22 lives to perish. It was a very violent accident because the freight train was actually carrying oil, and when it collided with the passenger train, it was a huge explosion causing the bridge to collapse. The tragedy didn't stop there. You see, just 6 years after that horrific train accident, in May of 1877, a horrific fire took out 7 buildings directly around the house. The John Lawson house was one of the few surviving structures, which people thought that was kind of bizarre. Okay, but what is the haunted lore connected to these mannequins? Why do many people believe that these mannequins are actually haunted? Well, many people would notice that the mannequins supposedly would move on their own. The eeriest theory is this. People believe that the mannequins are facing the direction of where these 2 horrific events occurred in the 1800s, and that it's quite possible that those who perished in the train accident of 1871 and quite possibly the fire 7 years later are possessing these mannequins. I just like to say, just let the mannequins speak for themselves if they're really haunted. But as of right now, actually since 2016, 2018, the house was sold, and apparently the mannequins moved to another house within the area. And to this day, no one knows who's been changing their clothes, rearranging them on the porch. People do know that there is someone or maybe a couple of people that have been living in the house because they do see maybe a light or 2 on at night. Mail and packages still being delivered to the home, along with a vegetable garden growing in the back. So have you heard of the story of the John Lawson Mannequin House in New Hamburg, New York? Have you seen the new location where they're currently at? Let me know in the comments. And stay weird and stay haunted.
Let's talk about some creepy urban legends. And this one will never sit right with me. So there was a man named Elmar McCurdy, and he was an American outlaw who was unalived by police after robbing a train in Oklahoma in 1911. So after he was killed by the police, they transported his body to a funeral home in Oklahoma. So after no one claimed his body, the funeral home put his body on display for people to see. And in 1916, a representative posed as a relative and claimed his body, y'all, and pretended like they was gonna give his body a proper burial, but instead, he put him on exhibit as the Oklahoma outlaw. In the 1930s and 40s, the mummified body was displayed by a former police officer in a museum of crime. So fast forward to the 70s, there was basically this like fun house in Long Beach, California, y'all. And it was called the Laugh in the Dark Fun House. And the fun house was filled with all type of different creepy little mannequins and all that, you know, like a typical fun house. And the children and people would always be like, there was just this weird vibe with this specific mannequin, y'all. And the children especially would complain about this horrible odor about this specific mannequin, y'all. And people just complained that it just was too human-like. Then fast forward, this crew was coming to basically film some stuff at the Laugh in the Dark. And they was just like, this mummy is just not giving. Move it out the way, I don't want to end this shot. So why the mummy that everybody's been talking about for years that just gave them an uneasy feeling, y'all, turns out to have human bones inside. One of the pieces fell off whenever the crew members was moving it, y'all, and they could see the visible bones. Come to find out, it was the mummified body of Elmar McCurdy. And the medical examiner opened the mummy's mouth and found a 1924 penny inside and a ticket from the Museum of Crime in Los Angeles. And from that, he was able to trace the body and ID it. So this man has been on display for almost over 70 years being mummified, y'all, at a children's fun house. But later, the mummy was finally laid to rest at Summit View Cemetery in Oklahoma. The state medical examiner ordered 2 cubic yards of cement to be poured over the grave and the coffin before it was closed, so nobody could mess with this man and just let him rest for once. But this whole story was absolutely wild, y'all. I cannot believe people actually did stuff like this and still do it. But let me know what y'all think in the comments.
This man has a family of mannequins, and it's going to be one of the most unsettling things you will ever see. A man with a family of mannequins went viral recently and earned various reactions online after the story behind his strange behavior has been revealed. A man from Colombia named Christian Montney had become an internet sensation after photos of him and his family of mannequins went viral on social media. However, the story behind his unique family is not one of joy, but rather a tragedy of mental illness. According to the posts, Christian allegedly suffers from delusional disorder, a condition that causes him to have difficulty distinguishing between what is real and what is imaginary. This disorder has apparently led him to create a family of mannequins which he treats as if they were alive. In the photos I've been showing, Christian can be seen posing with his mannequin wife, who he named Natalia Ortiz, and his 2 mannequin children. He has even created a separate social media account for Natalia where he uploads photos of them together as if they were a real family. Many people who have seen the photos have expressed concerns for Christian's mental health, with many speculating that he may be suffering from objectophilia, a condition where a person feels a romantic attraction to an inanimate object or objects. However, there are also posts circulating online that suggest Christian's obsession with mannequins may be rooted because of a tragic event that occurred in his life, with many speculating that his family or loved ones may have been involved in something terrifying. This case is just extremely unsettling and weird because I've made many true crime case videos about people who turn their victims into mannequins and keep them as souvenirs. Now, he's not doing that, but mannequins and true crime have never gone well together. I hope Christian figures out whatever it is he needs to, and let me know your thoughts on this whole thing.
Now, don't get me wrong, I have seen some realistic looking mannequins, especially at our store. We have some different looking mannequins. I mean, to the point where they look like they got BBLs. Like the hips is huge, butt is big to fit the kind of outfit to make it look like, you know, it fits a BBL body. But those BBL mannequins never gave realistic looking mannequins to the point where their hands look like embalmed bodies, right? They look like embalmed skin and or fingernails that are a bit swollen. And also, did you notice her eyes? Like her eyes have like the veins, like the red strip, you know, in your eyeballs you could see like little red veins and or like veins in the hands and everything. It looks real, it looks realistic, just like the video of the young man the model who basically disappeared, the Balenciaga model that basically disappeared and then show up at a Balenciaga store as a mannequin. It was giving very much that. And my thing is, I'm saying that mannequins nowadays look realistic like that, but back in 1930s, they were not making mannequins looking like that. There's no way it was looking like that. And this mannequin's been around for so long, and it doesn't seem as though that it has changed over the years. You know how maybe she'll have a mannequin and, you know, close to 100 years later, the mannequin, or 80 years, I'm a little exaggerating, the mannequin would eventually disappear and she'll have, you know, different mannequins, because I understand that she had this store for a long time. Congratulations to this woman, because she keep up with the store and everything. But this mannequin never changed. And did you guys notice in one of the videos, it looked like the mannequin eyes were moving? Because I was trying to look. I'm like, wait, did she move her eyes or am I just staring too hard? Because she looked like she was moving her eyes. And it looked like the eyes does follow you. And for a place to have so many people talking about the same exact thing, like this thing is like a real corpse, it's giving somebody saw something, somebody think that this is real. That is the reason why it's so popular. But let's jump right into the man who basically have a whole family of dolls. What is going on? Did y'all see this video? I don't think I made a video around that time. I don't think I had my YouTube channel around that time, but it was definitely like 2 years ago or last year, where this man basically turned himself into a whole dog. Like, what is going on? And then people telling me that I'm asking for too much in life. You got people, you know, marrying dolls and turning himself into dogs. This man was sleeping in a dog cage. Like, he literally made himself into a whole dog, right? So when I saw this whole family of dolls, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to make fun of the man if he has some sort of issue going on, but clearly there's something is not right. He's not wrapped too tight. Just giving something is wrong, you know, and I do hope he get the help that he needs. But that is a very interesting thing to see, and I've seen this before where people actually fall in love with objects. And I just wanted to bring the whole mannequin thing, because we were talking about the La Pascualitas, which was very, very interesting. But when I found the doll situation, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should throw that into the video too. And I couldn't believe it. This man has a whole family taking pictures of her. Like, I wonder though what goes through his head, because you see interesting stuff and you don't want to judge, but I'm here and I'm not judging, but my eyes are just like, what is going on here? Somebody excuse me guys, I'm coming down with something. Somebody's just not wrapped too tight, right? Because how do you feel? Like, I was watching this show and this lady basically fell in love with the chandelier. She got married to the chandelier and everything. Have you guys seen this? The one of them, she was in love with the Statue of Liberty. I mean, her whole house was Statue of Liberty, everything, right? And props to you. You might love something so much. But the lady got married to the chandelier. Not only that, but she was making love to the chandelier. I mean, to the point where she had like little pieces of chandelier like in her mouth, and she was like giving it Felicia. Okay, at what point do we say enough is enough? At what point do we say this is strange? This is attention-seeking strange behavior. Because what do you mean you married a chandelier? Well, what do you feel? What kind of feeling do you feel from this said chandelier? Does the chandelier talk back to you? Because look, at this point, I feel like I should be getting married to money. Because look, I love money. I really do. I really do. And I've made videos about this where I tell you guys all the time, you can't do shit without money. As someone who works in the hospital, you can't even breathe proper air if you don't have proper oxygen without money. So therefore, money is very, very, very important. So if people are falling in love with random objects, maybe I should fall in love with money and just say, hey, I'm gonna marry money. Because what do you mean you're falling in love with the chandelier and literally giving information on TV? You know what? Anyways, y'all, that's my take on the whole doll situation. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Pascualitas. Have you ever been there? Have you ever visited? If I ever go to Mexico, Chihuahua, Mexico, I definitely want to visit that place to see the doll, or the mannequin, because I think that's so interesting. And imagine though, I mean, because if that was her only daughter and that daughter died, I don't know if I would turn her into a whole mannequin. I think I would want her to rest, in peace. But turning her into a whole mannequin and keeping her like embalmed, because I'm pretty sure you have to keep maintenance on that. Like, you can't just have it just standing there for years and years and years unless you like do the taxidermy. Can you actually, I don't want to sound stupid, but can you do taxidermy on a human? I'm assuming you can. Isn't that what embalming is? What the hell was that? Isn't that what embalming is for humans technically? Anyways, let me know in the comment section, and don't come for me and tell me, oh, I'm stupid for not knowing. Just let me know in the comment section whether or not, like, is it technically taxidermy, and if it is, do they have to keep up maintenance on that object to keep it for so long in the window, and then like wearing a dress, and it doesn't seem like they changed the dress either. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Love you guys. I'll be back with some more interesting stories.